So it shouldn't be to anyone's surprise, but I support Ashley Gonzalez. Regardless of how you feel as a white American or a black American, Latinos can say whatever we want. Black Americans and white Americans try to force us into their white versus black mentality. They want us to subscribe to their social idealisms, and that includes their language. And quite frankly, I am refusing, as a Latino, I am refusing to bow down to their linguistic authority.
So I'm not surprised you agree with Ashley. But if you're going to go ahead and kiss ass of white supremacists, do us all a favor. Don't put us in the middle of your shit. You made the conscious decision. You did. As a grown-ass adult, you made the conscious fucking decision to suppress all that you know about the history of this country and how people who speak Spanish have been treated in order for you to get along with them motherfuckers. Black folks ain't have shit to do with it. So do me a favor. Comments will be open on this. Explain in a detailed way. I don't need another video. Just explain in a detailed way. I don't care how many comments you have to make. What did black folks ever do to you? You personally. What did they do? That would make you fucking believe. They're going on a racist ass tirade, which cost Ashley her job, by the way. Is somehow something you need to agree with. Who are you doing that for? Do you think the white supremacists see that and go, yep, that's one of the good ones?
Personally, I don't even care about Ashley Gonzalez herself. She is an individual. She can make her own decisions. If she wants to apologize, she can apologize. I, however, will never apologize. I am not going to apologize. I refuse to bow down to American bullshit when it comes to social standards. At least some of them. Like, if you're going to come at me and say or be upset because I said the N-word, I don't give a fuck. I truly don't give a fuck.
You say that black people and white people are trying to force you into this conversation. No. White people forced you into it. Black people were just the scapegoats. We were minding our fucking business. And since you agree with Ashley, can I ask you a serious question? The fuck did black people ever do to you? You, personally. Why you hate us so much? If we go through history, there were no black faces that were fucking with Mexican and Latino speaking, Spanish speaking people. It wasn't us. You want to go with present day, the president of the United States that I heard a whole lot of Spanish speaking people talk about, I will vote for Donald Trump, is currently rounding up anybody with a little bit of melanin in their skin and the last name of Gonzalez to take your ass to CCOT, which is in El Salvador. That ain't a black president that did that. Why you hate us? Why? Who taught you to hate us? You should look up Fred Hampton's Rainbow Coalition. There's a group of Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters that fought right alongside Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party. You disgrace them because I have never seen motherfuckers that will capitulate so fast to white skin. Of course you agree with her. Because you think like that. See, you got life twisted in the game, homie. We ain't asked you to fucking pick a side. I find that funny. I find that mentality funny. Black people and white people are trying to make us pick their black, white, but no, we're not. White people are making you try to do that shit. Black folks is over there going, come or not. We don't really, at this point, we don't care. All we've ever tried to fucking do is liberate your dumb asses. You see, you George W. Bush, no children left behind type motherfuckers don't seem to understand that the civil rights movement and the Civil Rights Amendment, along with the Voting Rights Amendment, that wasn't just for black people. It wasn't. It was not. Civil rights for everyone. Do you think they didn't hang Mexicans? You didn't think they didn't fucking go down to Puerto Rico and abuse the people in Puerto Rico, abuse the people in Haiti and the Dominican Republic? You don't think that happened? Did you see any black folks on them? Did you see any black folks as the captain of those boats? Did you? No. Y'all were given that binary by white folks. You see, on the one hand, since you want to talk about choices, on the one hand, you had black people who were literally looked down upon in almost every quadrant of this country. And then that bullshit racism was spread around the world. Hello, Birth of a Nation and Al fucking Jolson. All we've ever tried to do is fight for civil rights. Civil. Not more, not better, not above, not superior. Civil. And on the other hand, you have those same white folk that talk about your Spanish ass when your back is turned. But what do they tell you? Don't be like them over there. They're lazy, shiftless, welfare getters, thieves, criminals, do drugs, blah, blah, blah. Be like us. And then you find out, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. It's not. All that I will vote for Donald Trump. What did it get y'all? ICE detention centers. Motherfuckers supporting something called Alligator Alcatraz. Did you know there are 100 people who were detained in Alligator Alcatraz that still have not been accounted for? Y'all fell for that bullshit. A lot of Latinos that talk this white supremacist shit, y'all fell for that. We did not give you that choice. You fell for it. That was never in our motherfucking... To be an ally to us or be an accomplice to us, we never asked you to do that. Never. We just said, see what the fuck's going on. Look for your goddamn self. But that wasn't enough. No matter how many times they mistreated, shit on, abused Spanish-speaking people, y'all always kept trying to kiss up to them. And one of the things they don't like about our asses is we can't assimilate. You have white passing black folk, and even some of them are like, I don't pass that goddamn much. All we have ever asked you to do is look and think for your goddamn self. But years and years and years and decades and decades and decades of misinformation, disinformation, and flat out goddamn indoctrination have y'all believing, people like you and Ashley Gonzalez, that somehow if you act just like these motherfucking white folk, they'll accept you. They're never going to. The white patriarchal, white supremacist mindset means your ass is here with us. But you keep fighting your ass off not to be near anyone. I know black, papi, I know black.
There's way too many damn racism in the Hispanic and Latino community towards our black cousins, and you'll have to lock the fuck in. Ashley Gonzalez was a Hispanic police officer who, one of her private stories on Instagram, repeatedly he called one of her arrestees or clients, hence the N-word, who was obviously black. Heck, and why are we doing this? Like, we are also oppressed. You guys know this, right? We're not white people. The white people don't see us as white. Why are we so conflicted against each other? Why do you, as a Hispanic person, feel the need to be conflicted against a black person when we are both oppressed by the same person? Like, what is not clicking? We are closer to them, and then we are closer to them than white people are close to us. Like, be for real. They do not see you as one of them. Lock the fuck in and stop being fucking racist to our cousins. Stop.
Ashley Gonzalez got fired which is the result that should have happened. And you know what else needs to happen? There needs to be an investigation on every case and an arrest that she has handled since she was hired. Any sort of community engagement that she has done needs to be investigated, because based on her statements, she has already made its statement saying that she does use her bias in the way that she treats the people that she comes in contact with as a police officer. And like, not only police officers are the ones that abuse their power. Like, for example, I have just made an expose on this news reporter who used this platform to allow a white man to continue spewing rhetoric that has now landed a black business owner and a black Houston woman who is just a regular food reviewer on social media be constantly given death threats and receive abuse and harassment on social platforms. This is how racism becomes part of an established system.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to look at a situation that has taken the timeline. That is the firing of Houston police officer Ashley Gonzalez. We're going to look at the arguments surrounding her firing. That is everything from the claims that Latinos shouldn't have to follow the American social standards, right? And the painful reality of the anti-blackness within our very own families. So this is the Nick Report and I'm the host Nick, and I'll be playing some more vids to Gonzalez firing, and I need you to stay tuned to the end. Then we'll come back with our critical analysis of the same, right? Because we need to talk why trying to act right won't actually save you in the long run. So let's get into the videos.
There's two types of Latinos. One like myself who will admit that anti-blackness exists in our family and our networks, right? Now, much less in my family because I've done a lot of fucking work. It's been exhausting, but it's good work. And then the other one is the Latinos who say that anti-blackness doesn't exist, but when you get deeper, it's probably because these people say the N-word. Because even in families, Latino families, where there is much more love for blackness, there is extended family who will have anti-blackness. So no matter where you go, there's going to be some sort of anti-blackness. And to negate that, like there was a comment under my video that said that it's just my family, no one else, is just a lie. It's a lie, and you don't want to do the work, or you contribute to the harm that is being done to the black community. Maybe you say the N-word, right? And you think that's word peace because you as a Latino get to say it because maybe you got a pass from the black community. I don't know. That's something for the black community to police. That's not for me. But there is anti-blackness in the Latino community. And although I would say, I guess depends where, it's much less than when I was growing up in the Y2K in the 90s, it still exists, and it's something that we have to battle. Two, I do want to apologize because I did respond to some comments, especially ones that I felt were focusing on the wrong thing. The fact that I said that when Latinos vote against black people, some black people may feel the need to vote against Latinos. I said that understanding the conversations that I've had with some black folks, less of me assuming and more of me just messaging what I've heard. And I understand that was taken a certain way and maybe I should have communicated better. But I digress. It's not on me to tell black people how to feel, so I'm just not going to respond to the comments because it's valid, because this is much more than one event. It's a daily problem, right? So I can see why there are types of ways about it, but also the misinformation, the misunderstandings of the Latino community as to the fact that all Latinos voted for Trump is just false. California Latinos voted for Kamala Harris, and the majority of Latinos in California are of Mexican descent. And Texas Latinos are different. I don't know what's in their water. We don't understand as California Latinos, Texas Latinos, so I cannot speak for them, just like I cannot speak for Florida Latinos, who are much more like Cuban, South American. And what that does is that it allows for the people who I'm trying to re-educate say, well, look, they're attacking us, so it just makes sense that we have to keep doing this. But that's not the black community's job to fix. It's our job to check. I've been trying to figure out how to touch on this because there's very valid points here. But I will say that as a Mexican American, there's a concept called the cosmic race, la raza cósmica. And basically, when I was growing up, they would tell you, not even just, I guess it technically is anti-blackness, but even anti-indigenous, you'll be told you have to date lighter than you because otherwise your kids will turn out ugly. So darkness equals ugly. And even the darker skinned Latinos, the darker skinned Mexicans will feel like this, or we were taught to feel like this. And what that tells us is that although we should be proud of our culture, we have to understand that, for instance, I'm not living in Mexico, I'm living in the United States, where there is a diverse pool of people, particularly in California, where Los Angeles was established not just by indigenous Mexicans, mixed Mexicans, but Afro Mexicans. If you research it, Afro Mexicans were still there. And the fact we don't learn this is maybe possible why we feel so divided between the groups. But ultimately, we have to understand that no matter the historical conflicts that created California under the United States, we are not in Latin America, so we should not be abiding by the Latin American cultural norms that divide us in a way in which we are trying to make a chemical child that is much lighter and therefore much more superior. Now, this has wanted down much more now because I do see much more interracial couples, not just like Hispanics and Black, but also like Mexicans and Salvadorians, which, if people didn't know, there was historical beef before that. And when I mean historical, I guess I mean much more like South Central Los Angeles, maybe California, which doesn't make sense, but you always find a Mexican dating a fucking Salvadorian, because why wouldn't they? And I just want Latinos to read this, because we should not be hazing Black people for them to get our respect. We should not have to make sure that they're the good type of Black in order for us to respect them. And the thing is that although I understand why we feel some type of way about using our language, because we feel that it's resistance, it's revolutionary, because in the 60s they used to paddle us for speaking Spanish. They want to erase the culture. So we will refuse to erase the culture because we want to exist as ourselves within this state, within this country. But we also have to be considerate the fact that since there is anti-blackness in the Latino community, and that is said in English, why wouldn't it be said in Spanish? And therefore, why wouldn't there be distrust of Black people of what we're saying in Spanish, right? So the fault is that because we prolong anti-Blackness in the community, there is still distrust that what we say when we're not speaking English can be talking shit. So something that we have to consider is the fact that maybe, although we can still continue speaking Spanish, especially I would say with white people, because that's what I love to do. I love to go to like white neighborhoods and just speak Spanish, or like Beverly Hills and just speak Spanish, because I see that as powerful. But if you're surrounded, or if you're around Black folks, maybe don't speak Spanish as much, and just be inclusive of the fact that they're there, so that they are also included in the community that you're building. Because the thing is that while it's understandable that you want to speak your language, it's also understandable that they may distrust that we are perpetuating anti-Blackness within that language. So in order to fix this, just if you speak English, which I'm assuming they did, because you say that they were just as educated as you, then just speak English. You can speak Spanish to white people. I don't care. But the thing is that there's actual justification for why they may feel that it may not be nice what you're saying. It is no longer nice to perpetuate the learnings that we've had as children, because that simply further divides the community. It further divides society. And I'm saying this specifically to Latinos, because as I say, it makes sense that if I was being subjugated to discourse that said that I was always less than, that I would be distrustful that there was respect, right? And that's what you felt initially, where you didn't know where you stood, because they used to be so rude to you until they realized that you were worthy of respect. We should respect people no matter what on day one, and just judge them on their behavior and not generalize them as a community. If we want Black folks to see us as different, as not their enemies, and I'm not saying all Black folks see us as their enemies, I'm just saying as Latinos, if we say that they see us as enemies and we don't want them to see us as enemies, then that means that we have to make it known that we are not. And that work isn't on them, it is on us. Because the fact we have to force them through little tests to demonstrate that they're actually trustworthy, quotation marks, that's just not good. That's problematic, and that's anti-Blackness. And we need to stop that, and that starts not with the other side, but that starts with how we act and how we include them. and what we do.
The other day, I posted about that racist police officer from Texas. I forgot what her name. It's like Ashley something. Well, the comments were not very happy with it. My Latino commenters were not very happy with that. And that dissatisfaction in the fact that I basically scolded my community for being racist, it proves everything that they're trying to convince us otherwise of, and that's that Latinos are racist. Now, for all of us who are like in the corner watching all this shit go down because we've actually worked on our anti-blackness and worked on being anti-racist, all Latinos are obviously not racist. That's a very big generalization. The problem is the racists in our community are the loudest out of all of us. And the ones who don't accept this behavior, we don't hold them accountable enough. And listen, I try to do my part and yell at Latinos for saying the N word. I have called them out on my account. But me doing that is not going to do anything in the grand scheme of things. What is going to do that is if you bitch out and shame your friends, cousins, siblings, parents, cousins, aunts, uncles, whoever's saying it, call them out. Shame them. Shame is an incredible tool to get people to stop being terrible. Well, it's a very interesting manipulative tactic, but it works in this case.
So welcome back, and I hope you found those videos so insightful. And I need to give you a chance. If you have something to share, go down to the comments below and express yourself freely, because this is the platform for all. This is your platform. The fact that the algorithm has chosen you to see this video, meaning this is the right video for you. If you're new to this channel, consider to subscribe, like, and share so that the word may reach a wider audience, right? Let's unpack the first argument that we had. This idea that using racial slurs is a form of refusing to bow down, right, to the linguistic authority. Talk about resistance. We are talking about the 1960s when our actual people, our very own families, the black community was punished for speaking Spanish, right? This was a fight for our very own existence, our community. By using a slur that was designed to demonize black people isn't defending the culture, right? Because it's actually adopting the very same tools that the very same people, use them to raise our language in the first place, right? You can't claim that you're being revolutionary, right, while you're standing on someone else's neck, right? There was a mention of cosmic race and the idea of improving race by dating lighter. We have to be real with this because actually this is where the problem begins. It's the bias that we are taught as kids that darker is uglier, right? Or darker is dangerous. Why? Because you can't spend all your childhood life, all your teenage life being told that be careful around black folks. Then you expect while growing up, taking that badge, you become a very fair, balanced police officer, right? It doesn't work that way, right? The loud racists in our community are a problem that we agree on, right? But the quiet ones who stay silent at the dinner table are the ones that let this racist seed grow into this uh, world tree that we see, right? Then there's the history, right? People like to forget that the Black Panthers and the Brown Berets were in the trenches together. So they understood that the system didn't distinguish, right, between a black man and a Mexican man when it comes to civil rights. Nowadays, you see people thinking that if they vote in a certain way or distance themselves from the black community, they'll get a seat at the table, right? But look at the history. The minute it's convenient, for the whites and those in power, those seats that they yearn for, those seats that they seek, they are taken away. So as we've seen the video, the system sees the name Gonzalez, right? Even before it sees the party that you support. So you Mexicans, you Latinos are nearer to the black people than the ones that you are trying to impress, than the ones that tell you that you are one of the good ones, right? So Ashley Gonzalez lost her job, right? And based on her own words about how he treated black people on the job, that was the only logical outcome. But for the rest of us, the work is about accountability. It's about checking our siblings, checking our parents, our friends, when they spew that rhetoric. So we have to decide, the Mexicans have to decide, the Latinos have to decide, and every other group that try to impress, the whites, right? They have to decide whether to keep the cycle of hazzling the whites to feel superior, or rather to appreciate the very people, the black community that fought for the rights, the civil rights to keep all people in America, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is firing Gonzalez enough, or do we need a thorough investigation on her past arrests? So this is the Nick Report, and I'm your host Nick. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, stay vigilant.